Did you notice that?
Hi everybody, I am just getting us started here. We're just waiting for a few other people, so we wanted to at least connect you so that you could take a look at what we do before the actual formal thing gets started. So for anyone that's just about to do their first launch party, this is just what we do at the beginning. We just mingle, we pass out some drinks, and we welcome everyone. So just stay with us and hopefully you get something out of it even during this portion. All right, I'm just gonna text just to make sure, because I thought Anne was waiting for a few people too.
Just let her know it's my card.
Yes.
I didn't know what has to go to. I should have worried. I'm just kidding.
All right. The only thing, for anyone that's just tuning in right now, we're just going to take a couple more minutes here and then we'll get started. Grab a drink, enjoy. I have an e-shot. Lots to do today. But yeah, definitely sit down, relax, and hopefully if you can, just take out a piece of paper and a pen because there will be some really great training at the end of this as well. So feel free to join us. Do you want to come say hello? Come say hello.
Hi, Hannah.
We've got one of the little ones here. Hannah, say hi on the computer. She always likes to see herself later on when we say, okay, let's take a look at the recording and see how it was. Did it work out? Right? Can you say hi? All right. So I'm just gonna. You want some? You want some of that drink? Sure.
Can I use this?
Yes, you can. And just, you know how to turn it so that you don't spill it? Good job. You know what? You're going to start doing that for me soon.
It's really big.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
I'm making all of my own back.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay,
Are you live?
Yes, yes.
We're live.
Where?
Right back there. Good, hurry.
Oh, I was like, what is that?
No, that was Cindy wasn't sure she could get the link, so I was like, I was just making sure
Okay.
it worked.
And it is a little bit of a delay, so we hear ourselves a little bit later. Oh, Hannah. So Hannah's having the drink that we made tonight. So for anyone tuning in for the first time, this is a drink that is safe for kids, and we love it. It is orange flavor, and nothing in it has anything artificial at all. It's called Isagenix, and we have B vitamins and electrolytes in there. So it's a wonderful drink. Do you like it? Good stuff. It's approved by kids, which is a good thing. So that's what you're doing. All right.
Dana approved.
It is. That's right.
I didn't say anybody had a hurry.
Okay, so how about you put it right there and then you'll remember, okay? Perfect.
Okay, we're going upstairs.
All right. So we have a few canceled because my messages got a little bit crossed this week. I was considering canceling tonight because we're going away, and I was like, oh, I've got so much to do. But then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to keep moving forward because, in all honesty, it's good to keep momentum going. So, and as it is right now, we're going to be doing for just any future. Nothing the last week of the month, any month, unless there's some sort of special reason that we do one. But other than that, we're still going to try to do once a week, every Tuesday. And if it ends up being new people or not, just business training, that's fine too. We'll just keep going that way. And then also for our viewers at home, it's a good option for people just to have that consistency. If they have someone who's 3 hours away who can't tune in, at least we can say every Tuesday night there's a live broadcast and a recording, because what gets recorded tonight will actually be available right away for people to view. So we will get started anyway, so thank you for coming. And we aren't going to make it too formal because this isn't really a formal thing, and I might actually sit down. I just want to welcome you first of all, and feel free to try some of those yummy bars. What that is actually in the full, of course I cut them up for people to have a piece, but these are bars that come in a box of 10, and there's 5 different kinds, so I just like to explain what this is so that you know what you're eating. Again, anything that Isagenix has nothing junk in it, so you're very safe to know that it is healthy for you, even if it tastes like it's junk food, which I like, because it tricks our kids some days, right? Like when my kids are hungry, they want something, and they actually ask for Isagenix all the time, which is awesome. I mean, they still will have chips or whatever the odd time for those special times, but they never ask for them because they know that these are amazing. So one full bar would actually be a replacement for a meal.
Wow.
So if you're eating a whole section, you're going to have another dinner. If you've already had dinner, if you haven't had dinner, eat a whole section, and you'll be good. So we've got the raisin oatmeal. We've got one that is actually one of the favorites in our family, and it's called chocolate cream crisp. It just kind of has almost a mocha coffee crisp flavor, but it's chewy. This one's a nice crunchy one that's just chocolate, so for the chocolate lover, that's a good one. Lemon, so people that are really away from the chocolate, lemon's good. You either like it or you hate it because you either love lemon or you don't, right? And then the last one, so for any allergies, this one has peanuts and peanut butter in it. So, okay. How are you? Sorry. You know what? And I don't want you to feel like you have to be here at all, because you've got someone that needs you more. But I love seeing you anyway. How are you? Oh,
I
thank you.
Susan's eye.
Oh, I have that one
Oh
too.
my God, that's so pretty on you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Sue.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
No, it's,
That's okay. You know what? We are. Say I know it's always like when you come to our house, you just have to be like, am I on some sort of camera? That would be it. So nice to have you here. And feel free if you gotta go.
Hi.
Yeah, so this is Ange, and I'm sorry, was it Sue? Sue. And Amy, so we know some of us, but I was just explaining what these are so that she doesn't fill up and think that she's like ready to explode. So they're very filling. But the nice thing is when you cut them up in those types of small pieces too, it's good to munch on through the day. So if you what do you mind if I ask what you do for a living?
I work for Children's Day.
Okay, so that's a tough place to be, I'm sure. And many of us can relate to, the stress of that, right? So I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised to know that what our products will offer people is that feeling of really the stress on the body can take on so many different levels, right? We know that health problems come from stress, right? In so many ways. So one great thing about our products is that we can reduce the amount of stress coming into our system because of what our products will offer. So chemical stress is one of the biggest things that we all have, which we don't even really recognize sometimes. But that's something that our products will help with as well. So we'll get more into detail about the products in a little bit, but I just wanted to, of course, welcome everyone who's tuning in live right now, and I hope that you can see okay and hear okay from here. My other computer was doing an update, and I think that it might be ready now, but I didn't have time to bring it out here to do it this way. So we're going to try something new tonight, and hopefully it works. So when I'm actually showing a video, it will be on here, but we're going to be sharing the screen with our viewers so they'll actually see exactly what we're seeing. So we'll see how that goes. So in order to get started, is there anyone here right now that would be willing to just share a little bit about what Isagenix has done for them? And I'm not sure if Sue already knows your story, Amy. And if maybe she could hear from you. You don't know? So, okay, and actually this is what I usually ask people. I usually say, is there anyone here that was dragged out of their house and blindfolded?
Me too. The official dragging of you.
Well, you know what? Way to go, because right away, life is busy, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's so busy. How do you have time to come out here for an hour? Do you really have time to come out here for an hour?
Nice to actually
Well,
be here.
and that's awesome. So thank you for coming. I really appreciate that you take this time, because this could be an investment in you, which is the most important thing, because a lot of times, who do we forget about?
Oh, true.
We're working for everyone else around us, and we're doing for everyone else, but we're forgetting about ourselves, and that's the most important person, right? Now, do you have children?
4.
4 kids. How old are they?
25, 22, 18, 16, and then 3 grandchildren.
Oh my goodness. Well, you look amazing. You know, some people would feel like they're on the couch sleeping right now with all that going on, but you know what, that's awesome. And if nothing else, for just this next hour, you just think for a moment about yourself, because that's the biggest thing. The moms, every mom can relate to that. We forget about us. So, and when we're not taking care of ourselves, how can we be there for the people that need us the most? So if I could share just a little bit about my journey, and then I'll open it up to have some other stories shared, because I think it's really beneficial to hear from people that you can relate to. And whether you can relate to me or not, that's okay. Somebody might be relating to my story, and then you may relate to someone else as well. So 4.5 years ago, I was tired. I was so exhausted, and I only had 2 kids. So I can't imagine 4. I really can't. But they were 2 years old and 6 months. And I was just that zombie mom waking up going, really, where is my day going to go? How can I even think to play with them when I've got everything else in the house to do? And just, you know, you start to get beaten down. I also was very financially challenged, because I was off work, but I wasn't earning any money on maternity leave, because I didn't have the hours built up in my bank at that time. I had my kids so close together that it was like, you just get back to work and you get back off work. So not to mention I was a supply teacher, so getting woken up at 6 in the morning to go to supply teach was really hard. And there were times where I would call my daycare provider when I knew she would be awake and say, can you take the kids for me today? And I had accepted a job. Well, it might not be possible that day. So there were times where I had to cancel the job I actually just accepted to let it go to someone else. So that was kind of my life at that time, and I was just not open to a business opportunity. So for me to stand here 4.5 years later boggles my brain. I just think that just wasn't possible. But when I said yes, it was after months of being talked to about what Isagenix could do for me. And I was more about, okay, I hear you, I eat a piece of toast for breakfast with a bit of butter on it, just because I know that it's the right thing to do for my body to get metabolism moving. I didn't care what it was that I was putting in my body, I just knew I needed something. I remember even thinking, even just a glass of orange juice, whatever I could do to get it, and I wasn't a morning eater, so that was forcing it. So when my friend told me about Isagenix, all I was hearing was breakfast. Like, that's the only thing I was interested in at that time. And I said to her, you know what, I'm really not interested in the business as much as you think that the business would be a good thing for me based on where I was headed in my career and the frustrations I had. So she was thinking about that side of it. I was thinking about, no, I just want a good start to my morning. Give me that. So I did finally start after a few months of saying no. And the reason I was saying no is because I said I can't afford it. A piece of toast is cheap. Really, can I afford? And then when I realized it was less than $3 for a meal, I was like, that's silly. Why would I not be able to afford $3 a meal? What I was thinking was it was going to be an addition to what I was spending in my grocery store, where really it was just redirecting a bit. Hey, Jack, do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Mr. Spider-Man, hey? Yeah, you gonna have a bar? Yeah, he'll just kick up there and eat all our bars on us. But yeah, so this was the little one that was actually only 6 months old when I started. And I was nursing her at the time, but I just knew that I needed something. So when I finally did decide and I was consistent with it, the first 4 days changed my life. When I got that shake in me every day for 4 days, it was like a light bulb went off, and my husband actually was the first one to say, you've changed. And I went, what do you mean? He says, you're on top of the world, like you're just walking differently, you're acting differently, you seem happier. And I was like, oh, you're right, because we don't always know ourselves what we're doing, but the people around us see it, right? So when he noticed that, that's when I said, I think there's something to this. You can get some of that drink if you want. Right there. Okay, then get a glass and you can get some water. Oh, if you want some of that juice. I'm surprised. Wow, that's special juice. And he's like, I want water. That's okay. They love water. But so anyway, fast forward to the day that I said, you know what, maybe there's something about this. If I could take one shake every morning and I feel so amazing, I'm so much more awake, I'm happier, why wouldn't I want to share that with people that might need that too, right? And that's when I started opening my mind to the business opportunity. And 6 weeks after I started, I did drop 25 pounds. And I wasn't expecting to because I didn't follow. What you see here is the full system. So if someone wants to jump in with both feet and say, I just want to do it all, tell me what I start with, that's what we would start with. But for some people like me, I couldn't do the whole system because I was nursing. But also some people aren't ready to make that big change quite yet, right? So I like that when we take on a few or one product or 2 or 3, that we can see results happen. And, you know, I decided that if I can feel this great and my pants are falling off without me realizing I was going to lose the weight, who else would want this, right? And that's when I started linking arms with people that were making it happen, people that were trained and willing to train me, because I was ignorance on fire. I was just excited to share it with everyone. And that's exactly what happened. So within a few months, I started getting my products for free, which was awesome. So now not only was I redirecting some of my groceries, but now I was redirecting some of my groceries and getting money back in my pocket to go back towards these amazing products. And then some. You know, things started to roll a little bit more. I was making a little bit more money, which was helping me maybe turn down a teaching job that week because it was a little bit more money than what I would have even made taking my kids to daycare and then having my supply income, right? So it started to do those little things that I thought, wow, what if? What if? And that was the question I kept asking myself, what if this could turn into something more? And when I would say those things to my husband, who you met here, he was like, what if? No, you're a teacher. You can get back out and work full time. We need you to go back to work. So in the pit of my stomach and in my heart, I was just like, I know he doesn't believe this yet, but I do. I know where we could go with this. And so fast forward to 4 years later, and here I am. Our life has changed immensely. I mean, my health hasn't been better. I've never been this size since high school. So that makes me feel good. And to be able to function better for my kids, and now I have 3 kids, and to be able to put money back in our pocket, right? So year 1, and I won't say all these figures because it's on a video right now, but year 1 I made, you know, just shy of $10,000. And in my teaching career at that time, that's about what I was making because I wasn't working very often. Second year, you know, it was just getting close to the 50,000 mark, and I had no idea that I could make that from home. And I was like, how is that possible? Yeah, I know, right? And people might have all the reasons why they think it happened for me. They might say, oh, you can talk in front of people. Well, guess what? I would have been so scared watching someone in this position and saying, there's no way, I would never do that. I can speak in front of some kindergarten kids, but leave it at that. If it was a room full of parents, forget it. I'd be running out the door with my tail between my legs. I would just be too nervous, right? And there came a time in this business where I was so excited and so passionate about what these products were doing for me that I got asked to be on stage for 500 people at an event. It was only a 2-minute testimonial. I was just allowed to get up there and say what Isagenix has done for us physical ways. And I cried on stage. I was known as the crier because I was so nervous and feeling sick to my stomach to be up there, but I also knew that I was changing lives by being up there. So that's where the passion took over, and I went, whatever, I'm not afraid to speak anymore in front of people, because I know that if we're passionate about something, we can do that. So, you know, here we are 4.5 years later, and I don't say this to brag or to impress anybody, but my husband's been working in the police force for, I think he's in his 27th year now, a long time. His income's capped, right? He could make more by working overtime and really trading all those hours away from his family. You know, taking his vacation is very sacred, so when he has it, we use it. But there are times where, you know, he's used it for me for the business because now he's starting to see the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. And to be able to say in 4 years that I make more money than my husband does by working at home with our kids here and putting them first has been a dream come true that we never imagined was possible. And when I look at that, I think that's because I had the courage to say yes to some shakes in the morning. That was it. That's all I wanted, right? So many people right now looking at this as an opportunity, maybe like, don't talk to me about the business, don't even mention it at all. But I'm so grateful that my sponsor at the time mentioned there was an opportunity with it, even though I wasn't interested. Because if she hadn't said that to me, I'd be so mad. Because, you know, just like every restaurant or any place that you love, restaurant, movie, whatever, we just naturally refer people, right? We refer people, we want people to understand that I would refer it whether I was getting paid or not. That's the cool thing. And I don't make money off of Amy. I don't make money off of Ange. Isagenix just simply says, thank you for sharing it with people, and here's your referral. Thank you. Thank you for getting the word out. You're our advertising. So we're the live billboard for Isagenix. And they don't advertise. They don't pay endorsements. So that's really cool, like, that it just all comes back into the field of people that are passionate. So with that, I do want to just share a quick video, and then we'll share one more testimonial for the products. And I kind of just built that whole testimonial in for business and products, but let's see, screen share. I've only done this a few times. Let's see if I can do this now. I know you don't want to go to bed because it's so much fun. I know.
I don't want to go.
I know, buddy. All right, so we're going to isamovie.com for anyone who is watching with us. And I'm going to start off with this video right at the front, which is called Experience Isagenix. And guys, can you have a seat?
No, they're going to bed.
Oh, okay.
So they're saying goodnight.
All right. We're going to start this off, and
Yeah.
I believe that every entrepreneur is looking for the right company.
I believe that everyone deserves the chance to walk through life with a healthy body.
I believe every athlete deserves a system of products that will give them that competitive edge.
I believe that age is just a number.
I believe everyone deserves an opportunity to create real change in the world. I believe that everyone can harness their power and get paid what they're truly worth.
I believe that everyone can make money while on vacation.
I'm Jim Cooper, President and CEO of Isagenix.
And I'm Kathy Cooper, Executive Vice President.
And I'm Eric Cooper, Director of Field Development. And we believe everyone deserves to be with a company that cares about its people and wants them to succeed.
As you can see, Isagenix is a gift that is changing people's lives, both physically and financially.
And we invite you to experience what Isagenix can mean for you and the people you care about.
Okay, now it's done. Let's go.
All done.
What about the video we just made?
All right, guys, we're sorry if that did not work. It appears that it might not have worked, so we'll have to iron out all those details next time.
Get your blanket.
And
Get your
the
blanket.
Cooper clan's going to bed now. Night, night,
Pick up
guys.
your blanket.
Come
Okay, there goes a letter then.
on, buddies. Oh, letter. That's not a good letter. You guys know this is like maybe a mile ago.
That's okay.
So,
They're cute enough to make it.
Amy, would you be so kind as to share a little bit about
Sure.
what your Isagenix training is?
So, dragged, because I was dragged.
Yes.
I am actually met Tara because I was Jack's doula. So, I've known Tara for 4 and a bit years now. And Tara called me, April? You started in September 2009 and called me around March 2010, give or take, and said, I really want you to try this. You know, you helped me out so much as Jack's doula and all those types of things. And I was like, okay, no, total skeptic. And she gave me my first system as a wedding present because Steph and I, after years, decided we were going to get married. And so I was like, okay, I can't waste this product. Tara, spent money that can just say sorry, it's in the cupboard still. So I put the products into my system. I think day 3, I called Tara and went, what is this stuff? Holy jumpins! Because again, 5 kids. My kids, were 10, between 10 and 15, 16 at the time. Didn't know where I was going at what time of the day, those types of things. And I actually couldn't sleep at night because of just how much energy I was having and gaining. And I was just like, wow, this stuff is amazing. I can't not ever stop putting this stuff into my body. I lost 25 pounds within that first month, and I've calculated over the last 4 years, I've lost almost 90 pounds. So I still have a few more to go, but that's a journey, and it is what it is. And I know, like, seeing all of the different, there were a couple of people on there that had some pretty amazing weight loss stories, like Jill Liston and Anthony and Craig. There's a bunch of people that have amazing weight loss stories, and I know you're gonna get there. It's gonna happen. But just like Tara, we were living paycheck to paycheck, and even Steph would get paid on every other Thursday, and by Tuesday I'd be like, okay, what's for lunch tomorrow, and those types of things. And so I said, okay, Tara, tell me more about the business side of it. How do I do this? And she said, well, don't give every product away for wedding presents, but share it with people. And so I did, and I started sharing it with friends, and within, I need to go back because I did keep, like, how you tracked. I know it was about 3 months in, I started getting my products paid for, which was amazing. And just this past week, I had my highest income earning week, and I figured it out monthly. If I keep that at that week, I'm making more than Steph is a month, which is awesome. And that has given me the ability to be at every football game, because that's how we know each other. Our kids play football together. I don't have to miss football games. I don't have to miss life with my kids. So that's what Isagenix means to me. It means my kids' health, because Morgan and Mason ingest this. All of my kids do, but Morgan and Mason ingest it for football, and it's what keeps them going with like 5-hour practices and all those kinds of crazy things. And Tristan, who's my oldest, who's always been kind of that, yeah, it's in the cupboard, whatever, Mom, hit his freshman 20 over the last year while he was in school, and ended up having hernia surgery. I kind of was like, okay. So he finally came to me a couple months ago and said, Mom, how do I really use this stuff? Like, how do I put it in my system properly to lose the weight and do all those types of things? And he dropped 25 pounds. Wow. Just like that. Guys can do it so fast.
Yes.
So
I
know.
And it is different for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like when I lost the 25 pounds on the shakes alone, who knows
Yeah,
why?
that was awesome.
But that just, everyone's so different. And I didn't know at the time, but I was extremely toxic. I mean, I said it to someone today actually on the phone. My mind was toxic. My environment was toxic. I mean, it was just chaos, right? My belief system was toxic. Like everything was toxic in my life, so why would my body not be, right? And when I started getting these things in my body, that's when I realized, wow, I was missing a lot of stuff, nutrition-wise, right? And my husband even, at that time, he said, we don't need this stuff, we eat healthy. We've got fruits and vegetables and, full course meals and all this stuff. And it's like, really? Why am I so tired then? Like, why, honestly, am I so tired? Is it because we're aging? No, I was in my early 30s. I mean, yes, I was tired because I had kids, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I think we all just resign ourselves to the fact that that's the way it's going to be, right? And I actually have there's someone on our team, and I won't mention her name, but she went to her doctor, and she's close to 40, or maybe she's 40 now, I don't think she is, but she went and said, I'm really tired, I need something. Like, she had all kinds of other things going on as well. And the doctor basically looked at her and said, welcome to aging. And she just put it to her like that, and I thought, are you kidding me? That's what, like, I mean, not every doctor would say that, but it was just, you're getting old.
Once you hit 40, you're old.
Yeah.
Right, and good, welcome to aging. It's
My
like,
doctor actually said that to me.
really?
Yeah. He said, you're just getting up there. I'm only 42. Like,
Oh my goodness.
but yeah.
Like, what kind of answer is that? That's what I want to say,
Yeah.
Because I was also, at the time I said yes to this, I was going through some medical things, and we never say that Isagenix can cure, prevent, treat, diagnose anything. But we all have our stuff, right? And even at that age when I started, I had my stuff. I was on medication for certain things. And I'm not going to say Isagenix took the medications away, but when I asked my doctor at that time, what can I do to get off this med? He said, sorry, it's genetic. Live with it. It's going to be a lifetime thing. And I had to take a pill every single night before bed. But when I started on this stuff, I was starting to feel weird. And it was only when I would take my medication before bed that I would feel weird. And that was about 6 months after I started the products and things. And so I went back to him and I just said, can you please tell me why I feel this way only when I take my medication? And he said, well, if you're feeling that way, it's not normal. We need to right away take you off that medication, which I was grateful that he said that. And he said, I want you to tell me over the next few weeks how you're feeling at bedtime. Maybe it's just a bedtime thing, maybe it's the drug. And then he said, and then we're going to redo a blood test to see how you are. Well, when I went back to him, I was actually afraid to go back because I thought if he tells me I need a double dose of it, or like, I was terrified because I really didn't want this medication in my body. But when I went back, he asked me to go back six weeks later. I actually extended it to 6 months. I wanted it out of my system. I didn't even want a chance. Sorry, that's my ice maker. I didn't even want to take a chance. So when I went back, got my blood test done, he read me the results and he said, I'm proud to say that you don't need that anymore. I said, what do you mean? You told me it was lifetime, genetic. And he said, well, you've changed your lifestyle. Because I told him I was on Isagenix. He gave me the thumbs up at that time. And when he said you've changed your lifestyle, I thought, why didn't you tell me that that was an opportunity for me to get off the drugs? Because do you not think I would have tried even harder at the time to get off those things, right? Because I was on them for years. And so I'm just so grateful now. And like I said, please, for anyone watching, that is not to say that you can get off your medication. That's not what we're saying. But the body becomes a miracle when you give it the things it needs, whether it's Isagenix or other things that you're doing, right? So that's all this is, it's food. So a lot of people will say to me, can I take it? I'm on this, this, and this. You know, even my dad has had some medical challenges, everyone does, in some way or another. And when he got started, I did ask some specific questions. And the cool thing is we have doctors in Isagenix that we can ask those questions to. But in the end, it's food. So the only reason it would be unsafe for someone is if there is a food that would, or sorry, in our food we have a lot of herbs, natural botanicals, and if there's a chance that a medication can react with an herb or something natural, then that's something we do need to look at. And a lot of times doctors would never know that, but a pharmacist would. So a lot of times we say, take your list of drugs to your pharmacist, take the ingredient list of what you plan to use in Isagenix, and that pharmacist will be your best person to give you a good answer of what they think. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it in a nutshell. And I know as you're sitting here, you're like, well, what are all these things, right? And that's what I mean. We don't really focus on any one thing. Isagenix is a system of products that work synergistically together to really help people with whatever needs they have. So for me, it was energy at the time. There might be people that get started on this because they can't sleep at night. We have something for that. We're a solutions-based company. People with joint issues, we've got something for that. Again, all natural. So it's really nice to know that there's something for everybody, but not everyone is going to start the same way. So, and again, like we said, a lot of things are safe for kids. It's just another option for food.
The awesomeness is it's from like 0 to 100. Everybody can have something within the system.
And it really is. It's just a family product, really. Like, we are such a proud ISA family. My kids, even the 2-year-old here, who can hardly speak yet, when I put this on today, and I don't wear this very often, but she's like, Isagenix, Mom! And I'm like, yeah! So it's become such a family thing for us that I love empowering other families to take control back, because a lot of times we're just kind of living life day to day and just kind of giving up on the whole living your dreams thing. Like, where did that stop when we were kids? A lot of times we forget about dreaming then, right? And I know now, because of where we've come, and even Amy, how far she's come, and anyone else who has joined us, whether it's been for product or business or both, or eventually business, it has been something that I say to people, if this could change your life, what would change for you? Like, what would you be doing right now if time and money were of no consequence at all? And that's where I just see you right now even starting to think about that. And does that feel comfortable? Because a lot of people go, I don't even know how to dream anymore, right?
That's true. Yeah, you do get to that stage.
Yeah.
Your post today, it was PK. The PK post that you did really hit home, because how you were saying you were still used to living paycheck to paycheck and you had to get into that mindset. I was like, gosh, I've still been there. I've still, like, my paychecks come every Monday, thanks to Isagenix, so I only have to make it that week. And I was like, I really need to change that mindset. And that's like,
because you do it for so long.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you live.
It's a survival thing, right?
Yeah.
And even though, remember how I said in that post, my post was just basically, PK Smith is somebody who we have as an amazing mentor. He's actually coming to Barrie in April, so I've booked an event for him to come, and he's just fantastic. But I hired him as a coach too, and one of the things he said to me recently was, Tara, are you prepared for what's coming? Because this is the first year that I am, and again, I don't say this to be boastful or to, but I want to impress upon you what is possible. So imagine in 4 or 5 years that you could be creating a multiple 6-figure income. And when he said to me, do you realize that this is the year that you're going to hit that mark? And it scared me. It scared me a lot, because not only does it scare me in the fact that, oh my gosh, taxes are going to bite me, right? Because when the money comes in, you're like, oh, this is a business. It's not like being an employee anymore, so you have to actually really put that stuff aside. But we're not programmed to do that when we're employees, right? I've only ever been an employee my whole life. So for really 3.5 to 4 years, I've been taking every single cent and putting it in our life. It's gone. It's vanished. It's like break even. That's why I said today, I've been break even or under, even though I'm getting paid each week, I'm still living a lifestyle that I'm breaking even. And where does that ever change, right? So when PK had said that to me, are you ready mentally to hit a multiple six-figure income this year? And I thought, oh my goodness, so many people aren't ready. So many, like if it was going to happen 3 years from now, would you be ready? Probably not.
No.
So that's where it made me realize where the holes are in our own business. Like now I want to start really helping other people get into that mindset. It's taking me, and I'm not there yet, but it's taking me, you know, it'll be 5.5 years probably before it really hits me and I go, oh my gosh, yes, now I'm ready. But it was always just treading water to keep going, right? Like I'd get the tax bill doing this and I'd be behind the 8 ball going, oh, I didn't save. So now I have to borrow to pay my taxes, right? And how horrible is that? That is still living in that scarcity mindset, right? So changing it to abundance mindset is hard, but it is something that takes some time. So, you know, for anyone watching tonight too, if you're in that place where you're just getting started, don't think it's away from you and it's far, far down the road to think about. It is right here. So even if you're only making $50 a week right now, start really thinking about that. We can only, you know, think about it so long before you have to act. And the tax man's always going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, it's given, you know, and when Amy says what it's given her family, it has given our family choice. And if nothing else, choice is so hard to come by anymore. Even for my husband, he loves his job. He absolutely loves being a police officer. That's why he's still doing it, right? But he doesn't have the choices that I'm sure he would like to have. He has a lot of choice. He's got great benefits and great things, you know, holidays. But so many of us don't have that choice. We're told when to go to work. If our child is sick, it's very hard to sometimes get that time off to be with them, right? So if anything else, I just want to have more choice for families. So that's what gets me excited. But yeah. Do you have any questions at all at this point for anything?
I don't think so.
No.
You explained it great.
Yeah, and there's so much
I think
information.
you're still going.
I know. Giant's here. Where's the exit door? I see an exit there. I see an exit there. But in all honesty, that's just, you know, that's what we're here for. We're just here not to convince anyone. It really isn't like that. It's all about educating and answering questions, really, because it did take many of us months and months before we made a decision. And when I think about it now, those few months didn't make a huge difference in my life, really, when I think about it. But the fact that I said yes eventually was a big, big turning point for me. You know those pivotal moments in life where you look back to something and say, wow, like even the fact that...
And you called me back and said...
Because I literally the day before I went into labor, I called Amy back to say, okay, we decided we're going to hire you. And then, like, that was what I needed. I went into labor the next day.
Oh my God.
And you know, that's a turning point in our life, right, for both of us. And saying yes to some shakes, as much as that seems so silly, it was a turning point for our life. This house that you're in right now is a dream house, which I always like to share because we've moved a lot. My husband and I moved a lot and kept trying to think we would build equity in a house and then find a dream home someday that we could afford. And with Isagenix, thankfully, we started doing vision boards. And I don't know if you've heard of that or anything.
I've heard of it, but I don't know much.
It's a lot of fun to do when you start dreaming because, again, unless you actually can dream, it's pretty hard to do that task, to start cutting pictures out of dreams, because even my husband still feels uncomfortable doing it because he's like, I feel greedy. I feel like I'm needy of all these things. And it's like, no, what if it's the fact that you just love to be at the beach?
Right.
And that doesn't have to cost a lot, but it might be, you know, on a winter like this, maybe you could fly to the beach more often or, you know, have a second house in the beach somewhere. Whatever it might be, right? Or just time with your kids to go to those football games. That could be a picture on the vision board, right? So it's time sometimes. Or, yes, certainly material things. But I had cut out a picture of a house, and it's actually on my Facebook right now. It's been there for years, about 2.5 years. They cut a picture of a house with a big porch wraparound with the 2-story and the peaks and stuff. And when my husband drove me by this house, I went, oh my gosh, that's on our vision board. And he's like, really? Whatever. Because he wasn't a vision board kind of guy. But But I said, when we get home, I'll show you. And sure enough, I get home and I show him, and he's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Because it just, what you put out there, whatever you believe, right, whether it's spiritual or whatever, you put it out there and you have it on a vision board that's in your face.
Right.
Like, I cannot even tell you how many things have happened because of that vision board and because of putting that intention out there. And with my kids, they do it too. So at 6, 5, and 2, I already talk about dreams with them, you know, and they cut little things out too. Of course, lots of animals around there. Which is good, but
Next house is a farm.
that's a good idea. And hire some people that can help us so we can go on vacation still. So. Oh gosh, but yeah, it's, you know, it's been probably the most fun I've had in 4 years of my whole life. I mean, obviously childhood was so fun because you do dream, but when we come into that reality place of, this is what my job is, this is where I need to go every day, I've got my weekends off if you do, and my holidays, and that's what life is now, right? The reality hits us. And with your kids the age they are, how awesome would it be for them to be going to school with no debt? Like, that's what people are doing right now with Isagenix. Just
that's what excites me. Like,
it does.
Morgan, Joel, and I are filling out OSAP papers.
Yeah,
this week.
Morgan turns 18 in July, and he already has, I'd say 5 or 6 guys. That is, as they trigger 18,
Yes.
Over the next like 8 or 9 months that we have left in the year. He's already got a team that's
awesome.
starting to
That's awesome, yeah.
to figure itself out, and that's what's cool because I can put all of my kids on my team at some point in time, and they can build their own business. And
Yeah, that's a good idea.
because there are, like, the START program just
They're just
blows my
taking
mind.
this by storm. She likes to be in. Yeah, the young, I mean, and that's what's really cool about this. And I didn't show another video, but there's other videos on there that I can certainly show if you want. But the neat thing is, it doesn't matter what stage of life. Obviously, you do need to be 18 to open an account. But it doesn't matter what stage of life, what background you have, what kind of career path you've chosen. You do not need to be a nutritionist. Like, I couldn't tell you much about the products. I just know where to find it on the computer. So I don't pretend to know about the products because that's not really where my focus is. I know that when I put it in here, I feel awesome. That's all I really care about. Some people do want to know all the ingredients and everything. That's great. So we do have a place to go for that. But for someone who wants to do the business, they don't have to know that stuff. They don't have to be a doctor. That's why we've got the systems in place, which makes this business actually very simple. Is it work? Yes, it's still work. But this is the most fun I've ever had at work in my life.
Is it really? I don't feel like it's work.
When people say, well, is it hard work? No. The hardest work I ever did, and I'm sure I can't even touch what you do because you've got a stressful job, but the hardest work I ever did was going to school, not knowing the teachers, the students, not knowing what kind of issues I'd have that day, not knowing if I had support through the administrative staff. You know, and it went on and on from there. There was all these ranks of people that, you know, the superintendent of education, all that stuff. It's all very relative to what we're working at, right?
Yeah.
But this is the most rewarding thing. I mean, for the little bit of negative stuff that might happen, which isn't really anything, I can't even think other than, oh, I don't like the shakes. Okay, we can get your money back. Or we can give you some other kinds that you want to try.
Right.
Like, as negative as that might be, the rest of it is so rewarding. And yeah, we might get told no. You might leave tonight and say, I'm not interested. That doesn't hurt our feelings. It's just, that's part of the business, right? So if people can get through that, this is going to set them free. It really is, because it is just a business about helping people. That's it. So, and I love that. How great is it to get a message from someone saying, thank you so much, I found my energy. Or thank you so much, I've paid my mortgage this month. You know, whatever level that people are changing their life, it's you that gets the pat on the back, which is so fun. Thank you for sharing it with me, right? That's really what this is a gift.
Yeah.
So whether people see it like that or not, but that's really how we see it. So I can't imagine standing behind it and saying, no, I'm not going to share what I've done. That would be selfish on my part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or at the beginning, I remember thinking, no, I don't want to do the business because I don't want to sell anything. Right?
That's that's
Yeah.
exactly what she, and I won't say her name, she's out there, was here last week. Same thing. She's on
Day 4, I think.
day 4, right?
Yeah.
And I texted her today. She's like, I can't wait to get my next order. This is awesome. You know.
But that's
You
just
can say
it,
no
right?
tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I'm still calling you, and I'm calling you because she called me, and if we talk about
Without bugging people.
no, it's just like, remember you went to
We're gonna
Tara's
harass
house?
you.
Because Susan Sly's the perfect person
Oh,
who
yeah.
said no. You have no clue who this name is, but
21
she's like
times.
a millionaire, and
Yeah.
21 times her sponsor said, "You ready to try this yet? You ready to try this yet?" And she's like a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
She lives in Ontario, and it's just, that's the thing. It's for anybody, everybody. She's got 4 children as well. They're younger than yours are, but she's in her early 40s now. I think she's just 40 or 41. But she said no for a long time, and she has a medical background. Like she's a clinical nutritionist, holistic nutritionist. So she knew what the products were, but she still said no. And that's the cool thing, though. We don't always know if someone's into it or not. I say sometimes it's not for everybody, but I feel like it is. Eventually, in some part of their life, it is. Mm-hmm. And when you sit here and you think about all the people in your life and whether or not they would ever say yes, that's one thing. But when I got told about this the first few times, I thought, oh my goodness, my mom and dad, of anybody in my life, like who do you love the most that you want to see live a good life, right? Mm-hmm. My parents have struggled their whole life with something or another. They worked really hard, but they've struggled. And the fact that they were the first people that said yes to me, some of the first people, they weren't the exact first people, but they came to something like this when I got started. And I said, just come with an open mind. They had no idea what it was. And when they said that day, yes, tell me more. I don't even need to know much, but can I still have a steak sometimes? I'm like, this is a diet. That was the first question she asked. Can I still have a steak sometimes? But I said, it's not a diet. This is a lifestyle. And diets don't work for a reason. Lifestyles do, but you have to like the lifestyle you're on, or you're not going to stick with it, right? So I said to them, does it hurt to just try it? And they said, no, sign us up, get us started, let us try it. And now 4.5 years later, they're still doing it. And now my mom just told me yesterday, she has been dabbling in the business. Like, she's not close to talking about it, but she also isn't out there as much as I've been. Right. And she has been able to take money out of her Isagenix money, because she doesn't really spend it other than on products. And she is now renovating their bathroom with cash.
Wow.
And she said, in our whole entire life, we've never been able to do that. So I'm just so blessed that they said yes to some shakes too. It's just changed their life. And, my dad's still working. He shouldn't be, but our plan is to retire him by next year at this time. So he's in his mid to late 60s, and it's time for him to be done in the trucking business, because he's a truck driver. So that's what I get excited about, is the fact that it's not all about me and my family. It's about all the other people I care about, and people I don't even know that their lives are changing. So that's exciting. And I could go on, so I don't know. That's the ignorance on fire. Sometimes it's still there, and I go, okay, stop it. But no, in all honesty, now would you like some more to drink? You're kind of empty there, either one of you. And, I do want to respect everybody's time, because I know a few people, are tuning in, first of all, for the information. That was this first portion. And some people are tuning in to learn a little bit more about some tips and strategies. And I'm not going to bore Sue with that, but I am going to just, give everybody a bit of access to some really cool stuff, and just give you a snapshot and then direct you to where to find this stuff, because I think that it will really help.
And yes, she's on day 4, because she just texted me and said, yes, it's day 4.
That's awesome. So she's watching us.
Yes.
Say, hello. I've got the same glasses in the right hand.
Okay.
Just so you know. All right. So I just, and Sue, feel free. I don't want to bore you with this, and I'm not going to take a long time, but just for the sake of our viewers, because some of them are tuning in for business training, and this is what we do each week. We just do a little bit of a blurb first, answer some questions if we have some, and you're probably going to go home tonight and say, oh, I wish I asked that. Jot them down, send us an email, text, whatever, and we can get the answers for you, because we probably don't know the answer, but we'll find it for you. All right? And as far as everyone at home right now, I wanted to share a few things really quickly, and I'll show you where to find these afterwards. But for those of you who are looking at this as a business, we have 2 amazing documents, and I'm just going to show you right now, but they will be posted in a website that I'm going to share with you as well. So I'm going to be putting it, I'm going to share the screen here for a second. And hopefully this is working for you. You're going to go to www.seeitwhenyoubelieveit.ca. And at the top here, you're going to see Team Resources. So even if you're not financially linked to us, that's okay. This is free for you to use as well, and I'll give you the password right now. You're going to click on Team Resources. And in here, you're going to also see all the drop-down menus. So I'm going to be adding a tax link to this website right here, so you'll see the tax link in this section, but you can see a lot of other things that are very helpful, such as Pamela Barnum's 4-week MIT that she just completed, recordings of skills training, live recorded calls, all kinds of really amazing things, Dr. Paul Beyondich podcasts, and so on. So right in here we're going to have the link for the tax documents. And it's just to help you prepare for tax time, because I know a lot of us are thinking of taxes now, but if you're just getting this business started and you're still not making much money, please definitely go in and take a look at this, download it, copy it, and start organizing your taxes, because you definitely want to be caught up with taxes by the time it comes around next year. And when you go into any one of these things, you'll notice that there's a password that will come up. So password protect is just the word believe, all in lowercase. So BELIEVE, and you'll get into all these pages. So as you see, you know, there's lots of great material in here. That's where I'll be putting that link. Another thing I'm going to be sharing on that website, and I'm just going to go back to sharing or taking the screen out here. All right, so here we are. So this is the tax guide that I was talking about. It gives you lots of really great information. I actually have 2 different versions of it. Some of the things are the same. Other things are a little bit helpful in each one. So I do want to send both of those in that area. But the last thing I wanted just to share with everybody, and this is an example of how to keep records really clean. I've got a binder, and again, I'm going to post this in that team website. The binder is actually going to be used for this information. So, you know, some of you might have little sticky notes everywhere with a name and a phone number and an email of somebody who's interested in getting some information about Isagenix, and you lose their contact information, whatever it is. Try and find a system that works for you. If you're great on you know, your iPhone and you keep notes in there, that's fantastic. But if you like a hard copy, which I would highly recommend you do, then this is a great sheet that you're going to want to use. And I want to thank Robin Chadwick for sharing this with us, because he developed this and it's amazing. So it's got 2 pages. You could do front and back. That's what I've done in my binder. When the person is just looking at information, you're going to use this top section here with their information, maybe some details about what date it is, the type of contact, the details you have. Maybe they're going to say to you, you know what, I'm not interested right now, but thank you so much. You've given me, you know, information up till now, but things might change in June. Can you call me back then? So what I would do in that case is make a note of it on that sheet. But I've got tabs here, as you can see. So the first tab section is from 1 to 31. So if that person wanted me to call them next Monday, I would file it in the date of next Monday. If they said, call me again in June, I'm going to go to my June tab, because I've got all the dates, or all the months, go to my June tab and actually file it in there, all right? And when they become a member, because most people will eventually, it might take 21 tries, but that's okay. Most people will want to start this lifestyle eventually. You're going to then file it in the last name. So this is actually a binder. It's not going to be big enough, to be honest, but I do have a master binder for all my members from 4.5 years ago and on. So this is really just for the last couple of months, and then I transfer them to my master binder. So that's just one way to keep it really simple, guys. That's what this business is all about, simplicity, making it easy, because everyone can do this, whether you're educated or not, and I mean that 100%. You don't need a degree to do this business, but when we keep it simple with things like that, that's what is going to make this business even that much easier. And I've got my commentary girl here. Can you say goodbye to everybody? I am going to come and say goodnight. My kids are so used to me being up there to say goodnight. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just say goodnight and thank you so much for joining us. And if you're tuning in live right now, at 9 o'clock we're having our team call with Pam and Kevin Barnum, and it looks like a great one, so you'll want to tune into that. And for that information, you go to that same that same website that I shared with you, and there's a link, I hope that I put the link there, for our team calls, and you'll get information on that. If not, in the Facebook group, See It When You Believe It, you can get the link to the calls there as well by just searching for team calls or weekly calls, and you'll find it there. So thanks, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. We will not be doing this next week or the week after, so we're skipping 2 weeks. We'll be looking again at doing this in 3 weeks from today. All right, guys, have a good couple weeks. Take care.